How many cups of coffee did you have?
I didn't count, I just kept filling it up.
We've had our Tesla Model 3 for a little over 3 months, and we are taking it on its first real road trip.
Road trip!
We're just getting started. Here is the plan for today. And the reason for this road trip, I had actually a channel viewer who travels the country a lot and offered to buy us dinner if the next time he was coming through Texas.
So nice.
So we're gonna do that at a place called, I think it's pronounced Exit Woodfire Grill in Dalhart. Thing is, Dalhart is
pretty far away.
Yeah, about 440 some miles away.
So we're gonna go on a road trip to go meet this person.
This is about, you know, a little shy 900 miles, and we're gonna spend the night in Amarillo. So we're gonna get on the road. I'm gonna get into the trip planning and show you what's involved in that.
Off we go.
Gone are the days of me sitting at the computer and typing in a better route planner and going into Google Maps and making my spreadsheets, although I can't say gone, I'm probably gonna do that anyway, right?
You're just kind of that way.
But on this trip, we are not doing that. So let me go into the navigation and plug in a couple of things. So I'm on the home screen. I'm just going to tap on navigate down here, and I'm going to type in the first address. This is the hotel that we're staying at. And this is going to tell us where we need to charge. Now, we left at about 213 miles of range. We did not leave our house at 100%. And even with the percentage that we left the house at, we should get to, it said it, let me go back here. We should get to the Henrietta supercharger with 30% of our battery left. Charge there for 25 minutes, then on to the Childress supercharger, and we'll be there at 17%, charge for half an hour, and then we get to the hotel. Now, we picked the hotel because there's a supercharger there, and I'm going to go ahead and add a stop, find the address. This is the restaurant that we're meeting this person at. And this is going to tell us, yeah, and now we need to charge at that supercharger. And it's going to, I don't have to plug in that I need to get back to that, to get back to the hotel. It did it. So that's pretty cool. So here's our stops. We've got to stop at the Henrietta supercharger for 25 minutes, Childress for 25 minutes, and then Amarillo East, which is where our hotel is, for half an hour. That'll give us time to check into the hotel. Then we go on to the restaurant, and then we're back to the hotel, and we're good to go. So we should get to the restaurant at 6:04. We're supposed to get there at 6, so I'll see if I can make 4 minutes up. I still have my FSD trial, so I'm going to be using full self-drive on this trip. And one of the things that I remembered from my first trip in a Tesla up the same exact road, Highway 287, is we go through a lot of towns where the speed limit changes and there's flashing yellow lights above the road. And that 2019 Tesla with the old version of autopilot would slow down for those yellow lights like it was a red light, going from the speed limit down to way below. So we'll see if this does that on the trip or not. But let's get going.
Okay.
So I've got FSD engaged, and I've bumped the speed limit up to 5 over the speed limit. So it's a 65 mile an hour zone, and we're doing 70. This is typical road trip strategy for like Out of Spec and Kyle and all of them. They usually do about 5 over. The reason that we're doing that is to try to make up a little bit of time. We didn't want to take the toll road. We wanted to stop and get our opening shots back where we got them, and we left the house a little late. We're supposed to meet at this restaurant at 6, and right now we're 6 minutes behind. I don't know yet how accurate the route planning is going to be as far as estimated time of arrival, but just in case, we bumped our speed up a little bit, and we should that should make up that time, as long as it doesn't add that time in at a charge stop because we're using a little bit more juice. to Henrietta, Texas. We've picked up a few minutes. I think we picked up about 6 minutes, but by adjusting our speed. And we're supposed to be arriving now at 25% state of charge. It was 32 when we left that QT. I've had FSD engaged the whole time, and with the exception of one lane change in Decatur, it's the only time that it's been that it turned off. So that's cool. We're pulling into this Texas Best Smokehouse over here. This is one of our big road stops, you know, fancy barbecue, restaurants, etc., and also Tesla superchargers. So, and dinosaurs. This one's got dinosaurs. And I don't know what the car is doing. I'm going to disengage FSD here because it was going away from the chargers.
Go drive by the dinosaurs so we can see them.
I will drive by the dinosaurs. I will get video of the dinosaurs.
Here we are.
As we go. All right. Are any of these... Well...
Wow. All right, nice. Look, they did put...
squeegee.
Squeegee.
We can do a squeegee.
Nice.
And let the car auto park it into the charger. How about that?
Like a 15-year-old with a learner's permit.
15-year-old with a learner's permit. Good. We've been plugged in already by now. All right. And that should do it. All right, let's go get plugged in. We're on charger 6B. Tapped a button. Door opens. Plug in, and that's all there is to it. Blue, 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 and come on now. This handshake's taking a little longer than usual. It's really taking a little longer than usual.
Yeah, a lot longer, actually.
So I'm gonna walk away. I just heard a click. There it is, it's green. All I had to do was stop looking at it, and we'll be fine. So let's see what kind of power we're getting. It says 15 minutes to continue the trip. We are getting 70 kilowatts, 80 kilowatts, 93 kilowatts, 103 kilowatts, 112, 125, 133, 144, and I think that's where I was going to stop.
Holding steady at
144 kilowatts. 15 minutes remaining to continue the trip. So we are going to synchronize our kidneys. Yep. Maybe get some drinks and see if we can get a pair of sunglasses for Rachel because hers are a little broken.
And we'll try to be quick because we are still not ahead of schedule. So
well, we're like now on schedule, but we're also on Bolt standard time, so this is going to seem like a super fast charge.
Right, we got to get going.
There is a squeegee at this charging stop.
So convenient.
Rachel is taking advantage of that. All right, so let's see where we're at. We have enough charge to continue the trip. We'll get to the Childress supercharger at 13%. I may want a couple more percentage there. And we're looking at 9 minutes ahead of schedule to get to Dalhart. So let's get a couple more percent. Right now it says we'll get there at 14%. I think I want... So we lost 7. So let's see if we can get that to 17%. And that way we don't have to worry about speed. So the squeegee wasn't so great?
No, and really, it's still you're gonna want to use your windshield wipers a little bit. This is gonna be all smeary. It's pretty gross.
So right now it's saying we'll get to the next supercharger at 21%. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug. And now we're 5 minutes ahead of schedule for the overall trip.
Okay, good.
So that's nice. And we'll check. I'll add the charge steps in later in post-production. So we are on our way. We've got FSD engaged again, and was able to do it with FSD through most of that leg. I've offset our speed again. I should have done it in the settings, and I'll do that at the next charge stop. We're just so not used to how fast this car is ready to go. We've got 210 miles of predicted range right now, and we were there for just a little over 15 minutes. It probably closer to 20 minutes. I'll know for sure when I pull up the stats. What was our efficiency? Okay, so trip A is saying we've done 125 miles on the trip, 32 kilowatt hours, it's over here, and 257 watt hours per mile is our efficiency. So there's that. Next stop is at the supercharger in Childress, Texas. We'll get there in an hour and 49 minutes. It's 125 miles away, and we'll get there with 20% battery. We have 75 plus 8, 83 miles of buffer that we charged for too long. And construction, that's fun. We did have one town where we went through that had the flashing yellow lights, and the car behaved itself. So we'll try to get the next one of those on camera. Coming into, I don't know what town this is, but seeing how the car is going to react to these flashing yellow lights ahead of us. FSD is on at 65 miles an hour. And the last time I went through here in a Tesla on autopilot, these lights made the car really want to slow down. And there's some braking, but it only braked us 2 miles an hour. I think that was because of that truck. That dropped us to 46, and I think it was because of that truck coming out. Through Childress, Texas right now, behind, I think that's a cattle truck. When we left the charger at Henrietta, we had, it projected us getting to this charger with a 20% state of charge, and now it's projecting that we'll get there at a 15% state of charge, which is what it says we have right now, 39 miles of projected range and a 15% state of charge. We're 0.6 of a mile from the charger. 37 miles, 38 miles, 15% state of charge. And we're, what are you, blue?
Blue, 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 still blue.
Still very blue. Remember, here's the trick. We've got to look away from it.
Right.
There we go. There's the click.
There you go.
So let's see what kind of speeds we're getting here. 73, 87, 95, 105, 115, 124, 136, 35. Looks like that's about where we're going to top off. Might be a version 2 charger. Yeah, so 135 kilowatts, says 15 minutes remaining to continue the trip. So how's the trip going for you so far?
It's pretty good. We're having a good time listening to our book.
We're going to take care of a few personal things here at this stop. Maybe get some food.
Yep.
And then look at what's coming up. So our next stop is going to be the hotel that we're stopping at in Amarillo. And it is one of 2 Tesla superchargers that I know of in Amarillo on Interstate 40. And I've had that George Strait song going through my head all day. But anyway, the first one on the east side of Amarillo is at a truck stop. And the one that's on the west side of Amarillo is at the hotel that we're checking into. And then we still have about another 74 miles to go to where we're meeting up with Mike. And then we'll have another 74 miles back. So we got to have about 150 miles plus buffer when we're at the hotel. So the plan is at the next charging stop that we're going to park the car, plug it in, and go check into our hotel and maybe drop off our luggage and then, or our overnight bag, and then head back out to the car and see how much time is left. Let's see where we're at. The car still says we've got 5 minutes remaining to continue the trip. So let me see if I can go into some settings here. I'm going to go into autopilot. I'm going to do the offset at +5 because that's about what we've been doing. So now I've got that set, so I should have less fidgeting to do later. Check our navigation. Right now, 5 minutes left. We should get to, oh, it wants us to go to that supercharger. I don't want to go to that supercharger. This is the one I was talking about, that's the truck stop on the east side of town. We don't want to go to that one, we want to go to this one because we want to actually be able to check into our hotel room. So here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to hit these little dots here and go to edit trip, and I'm going to add a stop that's the hotel and put it before Cypress Boulevard and see what it does. So Rachel, how is this comparing to taking the Bolt?
Much faster, much more convenient. When we had the Bolt, we'd spend a lot of time trying to get the app to connect and the handshake to work. And this is just like boop, boop, wait, boop, done.
To Walmart's credit, they got on board with EV charging and they put in a lot of Electrify Americas at their locations. But when you're road tripping, you're constantly stopping at a Walmart when you're going to Electrify America. We are not at that. We're at a different type of convenience store. So what's your opinion on that?
I love that we don't have to be at a Walmart every time. I mean, nothing in particular against Walmarts. Again, like you said, we're grateful for them for creating that infrastructure, but it does get a little old. Every time you stop, it's always at a Walmart or a Sam's Club. It's nice to have something here that's actually designed more for travelers, which is, you know, a gas station.
Now let's take a look at this charging stop here, because this is a store called Pack-a-Sack. They got a Hunt Brothers pizza inside. Gee, how was the pizza? Was the pizza
good? Adequate. It was pizza.
But we're kind of off to the side. I think this is a version 2 charger. Yeah, chrome grip. But we've got a nice trash can and squeegee thing right here, window cleaning station.
What we don't have is shade.
What we don't have is shade.
The people
who buy gas,
get shade.
They get shade.
The people cleaning their cars also get shade. EVs do not get shade.
EVs do not get shade. Which would be fine if we had a solar panel on our roof, but we don't. So let's see where we're at on the charge. Car says we have enough to continue the trip. Let's see.
All right,
exactly.
let's do it.
Had to add the stop in Amarillo as the specific supercharger that I want to stop at. It says we'll get there at 21%, so we're good. So let's go ahead and unplug. Just push that button and it'll unlock. There you go. Yeah, hang it up. And now you know all of the ins and outs of how to supercharge this car.
So complicated.
I know. So let's get back on the road. Next stop, Amarillo. As evidenced by passing the Big Texan, home of the free 72-ounce T-bone, if you finish it and all the trimmings in an hour. We are in Amarillo, Texas, and we're coming up to where we're going to be spending the night. We're staying at the Holiday Inn, which I think is this one right over here. And we're going to pull up, plug in, then check in to the hotel. The last time I came through to the supercharger, it was around midnight, both times, or like 3 in the morning, and so exactly how we got to it is not fresh in my memory. And I believe this is a version 2 supercharger. The screen says that it maxes out at 150 kilowatts. So I believe that's version 2. So this charger can't give us the speeds that this car can take. The one on the east side of town probably could, which is why the car kept wanting to go to that one. And I know that the car wanted to go to that one, but we're staying here for the night and we wanted to check in while we were charging. So that's why we came here. We're not done driving for the day though. I'll have more on that after we get plugged in. Back in here. Let the car back us in. Because we can. All right. So let's go ahead and get plugged in. This is really cool. Put the plug right here and there's the outlet. So I'm gonna reach through. There you go. Push the button, door opens, plugged in. And while we're waiting for it to go to green, I'm gonna see exactly how far we gotta go. Directions to exit Woodfire Grill in Dalhart. We are 76 miles away from where we're going. So we've got 76 miles one way and then 76 miles back. So that's 152 miles plus buffer that we need to get from this charger. It says an hour and 12 minutes, and to get there by 6, that means we need to leave at what, 4:48? And it's 4:09 right now, so that gives us 39 minutes to get this charged and get checked in, which should be plenty, right? Don't you think?
Yep, plenty.
Okay, let me do a little bit of route planning. End this trip, and I'm gonna put the address of this hotel, because this is where we're gonna end the trip tonight. Let it calculate. We're right there. We could start the trip. We're 1 minute and 300 feet away. I'm gonna go in and add a stop there in Dalhart. And this should tell us how much juice we need. Yeah. And the car will be ready to go in 25 minutes, and we don't really have to go for 39, so we'll be in good shape. So, shall we go check into the hotel? We're gonna go check into the hotel. Well, despite the best laid plans of mice and men, we have a little bit of a delay on our trip. Now, the delay is on Mike's end. He got unfortunate and got stuck at a slow charger somewhere in Kansas. And so we're not going to be meeting him at 6, we're going to be meeting him at 8. Which I just finished up the charge stop here, even though we had a Model Y parked next to us when they didn't really have to. They parked right next to us and we split power, and the car went from 140 something kilowatts down to 70 something kilowatts. We still got enough power. Let me show you where we're at. We got to 227 miles of range. We got to 88% battery. And going to our destination, if we left right now, we'd get there at 5:55 p.m. and the plan was to get there at 6. So our onboard trip computer was pretty accurate. Now I balanced that out by adjusting speed and monitoring speed with buffer, and we had plenty of power to get where we wanted to go. And it was actually, I think, a little more conservative on the charge stops. We made up like 5 minutes or so on the road, but the first charge stop we made up at like 10 minutes, and we used that extra 10 minutes to make an extra potty break somewhere between Henrietta and Childress. And we got here and the charger got slowed down, but we still had enough. But now we actually have a couple of hours, so we're just gonna chill out in the hotel until it's time for us to go. And I'll probably call him and see how things are going, make sure everything's still kind of on schedule for the new meetup. But I'm gonna go into the hotel and just relax for a little bit.
All right, well, that didn't work out quite the way we planned.
Not at all. Best laid plans and everything, and I got to find out what's going on with Mike's route, and we'll give you some information on it, but he's having to stop at level 2 chargers, it sounds like.
Anyway, he's not going to make it for dinner the way we had planned, so we're just going to go eat on our own. Wah, wah.
We're going to go eat on our own, and, if we had left an hour or so ago. We might have gone to the place in Dalhart, but yeah, but it's 70 plus miles away, and there's a Saltgrass Steakhouse right over there. So
let's do that.
That's what we're gonna do, and we'll update you in the morning. And Mike, we're gonna meet him for breakfast instead here at our hotel,
Which will be
and that's where we're at. And you know, we plan the things, and things happen.
Stuff happens, man.
It's just the way it is.
It's all right.
All right, see you in the morning, which will be right
now.
It is the next morning. We have had breakfast with Mike. It was a nice conversation and talking about a lot of Tesla stuff, a lot of EV stuff, and a lot of traveling stuff. He's on his way back to the West Coast.
I had a great breakfast right here.
And you're on your way back to the West Coast.
Back to LA.
And
first charging stops in Tucumcari. How do you pronounce it?
Tucumcari.
Tucumcari.
Tucumcari, New Mexico. Well, it was nice meeting you, sir.
Oh my God, it was great meeting you too. If you're in LA, let me know.
Will do. Drive safe.
Nice cut. I love the red.
I do too, and I love the white. That is a very pretty car.
Those are the two best colors right there.
Oh yeah, white and red. Have a good one. And you know, sometimes you just want to have a more scenic and more relaxed drive and all of that. So, but it bound him up in a couple of level 2 chargers, which, you know, if you don't mind, you need the brake, you take the brake. It's no big deal. We are getting ready to get on the road.
Yep, just about time.
And we're gonna find out whether the car wants us to get just a little bit more juice. There's another supercharger between here and home in a town called Quanah, and we want to try that one out
Just for a
rather
little
than
variety.
just go back to the same 2 charging stops from yesterday. So I want to make sure that we've got enough to get to that one. It's a little further away than Childress. And Rachel, you say you have some excess energy. Why do you have such excess energy right now?
Because I drank too much coffee. We were sitting and waiting for Mike, and then we were sitting and talking to Mike, and I just kept drinking coffee the whole time. So now I'm like super wired with all this caffeine, and I can't sit in a car for 4 hours now. I need to go do something.
So I'm going to go ahead and check the route, and if needs be, I'm going to just back up a few feet over here to the supercharger and get like 2 more minutes worth of juice. And then Rachel is probably just going to run around the parking lot while she's burning off some caffeine. Homie, you came awful close to hitting me, but you didn't, so you get off the hook. So you can see from the Sentry footage, we parked nose up to a Model Y. It was the same color. All right, so I'm going to look at navigation. And right now it says Quanah, Texas. We'll get there with 14%. You know, I think I do want to have just a hair more. I like to have 5% of buffer. So I'm just going to plug in over here and get a couple of percentage. So let's back up and head over to that supercharger for just a sec. Oh, now it says we'll get there at 10%. So we may actually need a couple of minutes, because at this speeds, we're getting like bolt speeds right now because we're really high in the pack. So we'll just wait here for a couple of minutes. Rachel likes to clean up trash at charging stalls, and she also needs to burn off some energy from multiple coffees. So while we're just getting this little top off, we slept in, let's see, 4th floor, one of those windows probably right, I'm going to say that one room there, so we could overlook the parking lot. And I was parked nosed up to a red Model Y that was from Tennessee that we saw leaving for dinner, just to be a little cute and have them together. At one point, these superchargers here, let me show you the installation. Right now we're the only Tesla charging, but there were 7 of these 8 stalls in use at one point, and then a really big thunderstorm rolled through right as we were trying to go to sleep, and I got a little bit of that from the hotel room looking out. So today we're just going to be driving home. This is a nice experimental road trip that I'm glad that we got the opportunity to take, because it's proving that the car does what we bought the car for. It can charge fast, it does great on road trips. How many cups of coffee did you have?
I didn't count, I just kept filling it up.
So FSD has been great to use on this road trip for the long stretches. From between charging stations, I may have had to intervene once, maybe twice at a time. I don't think I've had a single run where I haven't had to disengage autopilot for traffic or because it did something weird. There's been 3 times that the car has dove for a turn lane that I didn't want. US 287 going through North Texas near the Red River Valley and into the Panhandle isn't really a freeway, but it is a highway with a 75-mile-an-hour speed limit. But it'll have intersections, it'll have turn lanes where you're doing highway speed at, and because of it, the turn lanes are long and have big openings. And 3 times so far on the way up here, the car dove into that turn lane even though we were not turning, and I'd have to disengage to get out of that turn lane because I needed to get out of it pretty quick. That's really about it. The park assist and the auto park at charging stalls is really handy, I will say that. But I'm looking forward to the road trip we're taking next month where we're not going to have FSD. And I'll just see how with the traffic aware cruise control and auto steer, if the car still does what I needed to do on those long highway runs. So we're at 17%. Well, we're not at 17%. We're at 86% state of charge, which is a lot. But we'll be at the Quanah supercharger with 17%. So that's plenty. I'm going to go ahead and unplug. There we go. Plug that in, and I'm going to move the car away from the charger because it's so busy right now. I don't want to take up a charging stall. Now I'm going to go ahead and put up the charging stats in a graphic because I can look them up on my phone and add them in post-production. But one thing that I noticed yesterday from looking at the footage is I need to mention the percentage. So we're going to be leaving Amarillo at an 86% state of charge. We'll see where we're at when we get to Quanah. We have 222 miles of projected range, and this supercharger is 148 miles away, and we're going there just because we want to experience a different supercharger rather than the one at Childress that we've been to before. So as soon as Rachel gets back, we'll get on the road. We should be home around 5 o'clock. It's 10 a.m. right now. We've got 2 charging stops, one in Quanah at a supercharger that I've never been to. So that'll be a kind of a new experience, and then we'll stop again at Henrietta at that Texas Best Smokehouse with the dinosaurs. And that should be all that we need to be able to get home.
Just successfully met up with Mike, and we are on our way back home. What did you think about our meeting with Mike?
It was a neat conversation. Like talking to other EV owners, especially to hear their stories. And he's more versed in the Teslas than me. He's going to know more about this car than I do. For instance, I stayed at that supercharger at our hotel while you were burning off your coffee until I got to like 17, till the route planner said we'd get to this Quanah supercharger at 17%, and now it says 30. Yeah. So we have way too much power for this leg.
Right, but what Mike said is he's got a different version of the full self-drive, right?
Yeah.
What version of it was it?
Well, he's on an earlier version of 12, I think, and he was talking about version 11. He's had it for a while, and he has the full self-drive. He's not doing a trial. He's actually got it on his car.
Yeah, he bought the subscription or whatever.
I don't know if he bought the subscription or if he bought it all up front.
But he has it, and he uses it all the time, he said.
And likes it a lot.
Yeah,
likes it a lot. And he noticed the same issue that I was talking about back at the hotel about on this road, how the car will sometimes want to dive into one of those turn lanes, which is a little disconcerting.
Yeah, that's one of those things that still needs the bugs worked out of it. It's one of those reasons why you don't feel confident just letting the car drive and like falling asleep, which of course you're not supposed to anyway, but this is why. Is because occasionally it does weird stuff like that, which is we always say it's like a 15-year-old with a learner's permit. It just doesn't quite know what to do sometimes. It gets confused and does the wrong thing or panics or whatever the whatever the
whatever it is.
whatever the AI version of panic is.
Unlike a 15-year-old with its learner's permit, we're doing the speed limit today, and it's set at the speed limit.
Yep.
But like a 15-year-old with its learner's permit, when it goes from a dead stop at a red light, it floors it. I mean, maybe not. It's not a full launch, but it definitely accelerates harder than I do under normal circumstances.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing how the full self-drive will do things just a little different than we do. You know, like for instance, how the parking is really, really slow. Although Mike said he heard they're planning on speeding it up in the next version, so that may not be quite so slow next time. And yeah, things about how it just accelerates a little faster, or it'll change lanes at a different point. It's a little bit different. But we were talking about our meeting with Mike.
Right, but it was a good meeting, I thought. And what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was fun to meet another EV owner and another Tesla owner, and just meet up and meet a new person. It was cool.
And he crisscrosses the country every couple of months, and
apparently he's met up with other people with EV channels as well. So this is just something that he likes to do.
And you're out and about. Why not? It's great. It's one of the things that you can't really do when you're driving an ICE vehicle. A petrol car, that people don't talk to each other at gas stations very often.
That is true. That's true. But EV owners are more likely to talk to each other. Not always, but more likely.
Not always. A lot of Tesla owners are content to sit in their car, and while the car is charging,
you can play
games.
Games, yeah.
We'll demonstrate that at one of these charge stops, But yesterday at the charger in Henrietta, there were people talking about their Teslas there. That couple from Tennessee that I parked by after we were both done charging that was also staying at our hotel. I mean, they gave us a wave. There was a guy who was just checking out the Teslas while his was charging. We do, as EV owners, do talk to each other a lot because we're stopped at these fueling stations longer than someone would be with a gasoline-powered car.
Plus, you know that you have something in common. Like, when everybody has a gas-powered car, you don't necessarily have anything special in common with all those people that are getting gas. But you do have something in common with people who are driving electric vehicles, especially Teslas, because it's a more niche subgroup of person, right?
Right.
The other thing I wanted to say that I thought was really nice that Mike said to us, I don't know if he said it on camera, but he said he really appreciated the content that you do, Luke, because you talk about the things that are good about electric vehicles. There's a lot of people out there saying, exaggerating or even just reporting only the bad things. And it's really nice to have somebody saying, these are the things that are good about electric vehicles. This is why we like them. These are the benefits. Decide what make your own choice about whether it's right for you, but these are the reasons why people who drive them like them.
If you got any other really good EV myths that you'd like to see us try to bust, go ahead and put that down in the comments. So let me tell you a little bit of the difference of today's drive home versus yesterday's drive up. We were trying to make a specific time yesterday.
Yeah. And
so we were trying to not waste any time at charging stops. We may have onboarded just a little bit more power than we needed, but it was, let's get out here. We were still making up time at the charge stops compared to what the trip computer was telling us.
We were a little bit in a hurry.
And when we left, and the trip computer said that we'd arrive at where we were planning on going last night 6 minutes late, and by the time we got to when I unplugged at the hotel, we would have gotten to that destination 5 minutes early. So we were able to make that time up. Today, we don't have a specific time that we need to be back home. So we're going to take it easy. We're not necessarily going to rush at the charge stops. But we're also going to be careful not to onboard too much power because of charge curve and speed and making sure that we're not holding one up. But we're going to be not in as much of a hurry today as we were yesterday.
Yeah, nice leisurely drive home. It's not a super long drive. It's a day's drive, but it's not so long that we're going to be exhausted at the end of it.
No, and we'll be home with still plenty of hours of daylight too. Yeah. So we'll check in with you at this charge stop in Quanah that's about 123 miles away. And we'll tell you what's going on at the charge stop. Before the end of the video, we'll probably do another one of these clips just to give you some of our final thoughts on the trip. We have made it to the supercharger at Quanah, and we have regrets. I will explain why in a second, but here's just a quick status update on the screen before we plug in. We've got 46 miles of projected range left. We've got our sunshade in the window. We're at 18% state of charge. That particular leg was 153 miles since the last time that we had plugged in. And we are at negative 28% at the next supercharger. So we need to get that up at least 38 to 43, 45-ish percent of the battery we need to get in here. So we'll be here for maybe about 20 minutes or so. But let's go plug in and we'll discuss. This is why we have a few regrets. It's at a Sonic, and while we would be great if we were going to have lunch here, Sonics aren't known for restrooms, so we really need those. So we may have to walk over there to that Lowe's to pee. But let's go ahead. Rachel, you want to go ahead and plug us in?
Got it.
Yeah, and there you go. Let's see how we're doing. I'm not looking. Is it green?
Nope.
Gotta get it. There we go.
It is. That was pretty quick.
All right, and we're 46, 60, 71, 93, 117, 141. Do we get more? 165, 171. That's all this car can handle.
Oh.
So we got to 171 there for a sec. And it says 12 minutes. It says 12 minutes to continue trip.
That's fine. Look what I forgot to do. I forgot to turn in my key.
Oh, well, you did tell them that we checked out, right?
Nope. I'm sure they'll figure it out.
So we just realized we forgot to check out of the hotel in Amarillo, so we're going to do that by phone and find a place to pee and get back to the car in a couple of minutes.
Let's go.
The Sonic did have a bathroom, so there's that. Didn't have to walk far, just had to walk right over there. And we're a couple of pounds low in this left rear tire. So I'm going to hand the camera over to Rachel, and I'm going to go ahead and...
You're going to go ahead and...
I'm going to go ahead and air the tire up.
Okay, you air the tire up, and I'll stand here and talk to the people about... Here we are. He's here airing up the tire. Yeah, we just hit the bathrooms at the Sonic, and we're going to wait to eat. There really isn't a whole lot around here. Our choice is Sonic or Sonic, basically. So we're going to wait. We're not that hungry because we had a snack, and we're going to eat at the Steak and Shake at Henrietta, I think, is where we're going. And he's got this handy dandy little air compressor that we really like, and just put plug it into the little cigarette lighter thing in the car, and then
if you want to
air it right on up.
You want to see this?
There we go. I'll turn it around so you can see it.
So we bought this little slime air compressor at our local O'Reilly, and when I bought it, this cable here had been cut, and I didn't notice that until I actually tried to use it. I was like, well, that's not good. We'd already thrown the box away, so I went back to the O'Reilly, and they just exchanged it for us, which is great. And you program in the PSI, turn it on, walk away, and the compressor's going to stop when it gets to that setting, the PSI that I just programmed in. And it's only a couple of pounds, so it'll only be on for a minute or two. So about 20 seconds after Rachel stopped recording, it stopped with the air. We're aired up. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this, get it put away, and then we'll see how much time we got left on our charge. Probably about done. It says 2 minutes remaining. And I just got this message that says you have enough energy to continue the trip. We're going to hit OK. It says we'll get to Henrietta with 15% battery. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug. At 65%, we just clipped over. And we are unplugged. There goes the door. Let's hop in. We stopped charging with 65% state of charge. And actually it says 17% is what we'll get to Henrietta at. So we're gonna go ahead and get on the road. I wanna point something out. Only other vehicle at this charging stop is that Rivian R1S over there. Try to get zoomed in a little bit. And notice he's parked on the little triangle thing that's next to the parking space. So he's not really in a space, but that's what he had to do because with the Rivian nosed in, the charge outlet is on the driver's side. So to make it so he's not using an extra space, he has edged over as far as he can. So yeah, even though the Rivian can charge here, he's being very...
he's being very polite, considerate.
Conscientious of not taking up an extra spot with that vehicle. I'm zoomed in too far, and that's kind of nice that people are being considerate like that.
Yeah, nice guy. There's the guy. He's in this car.
So we're going to go ahead and get on the road. All right, we are pulling out. 65% state of charge, 167 miles of projected range, and Henrietta is 100 miles from here, so that's a 67-mile buffer, which is more than enough. And we're gonna head out. I think that Rivian had a rooftop camp, like a tent on the top attached to the roof rack.
That's what it looked like to me. I mean, it was all covered up so you couldn't see, but it sort of looked like it might be a rooftop.
Things you can do with a roof rack.
Nice.
Might be something to look into. I know you can get a roof rack on this thing. I wonder if you can like sleep on top of it. I don't know. I'll look that up.
It's probably not great for the efficiency though.
Probably not. Probably better than towing a trailer though.
Yeah, probably. Although it may depend on the shape of the trailer.
Maybe. So we're off. We're back on the road. Okay, we're doing 35, we're doing the speed limit, and see how the car reacts to this flashing yellow light.
Oh
Nothing, no braking or anything.
No problem. I think that's the first time it passed this flashing little yellow light where
it didn't even just tap on the brake a little bit. Now we're stopping because
the car didn't get confused.
This is a red light.
This is appropriate.
So,
this is what we want to do here.
Yay! So FSD did that one just fine. We had to pull over to get this because we have the renewable energy of the wind turbines and oil wells pumping in the foreground. We are getting off of the highway in Henrietta, Texas. We're just about maybe, 10, 15 miles south of Wichita Falls. And we're back at this Texas Best Smokehouse pilot shell station that has the big Tesla supercharger by the dinosaurs. I want to see if I can park by the dinosaurs this time.
Okay.
It looks like I can park by the Brontosaurus. If it's a Brontosaurus or whatever that big dinosaur is. There's a Cybertruck charging. See it?
Oh my gosh. There it is.
So let's see. It ranged saying that we would get here from as high as 16 to as low as 5%. We really got here at 13%. Is where we're at this charge stop. 13% state of charge. We've got 34 miles of projected range, and we have 120 miles to go to get home. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's get plugged in. There are some storms where we're going, but none where we're coming, where we're going to be driving through. So to the plug. And we are plugged in. Blue, 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 blue. Flashing, flashing, flashing. This took a while. One of the things that I wanted to point out at the last charging station, you see this metal colored collar? That's going to prove that this is a version 2 charger. The one in Quanah that we charged at was a version 3, which is why we got 170 kilowatts. This one's not going to give us 170 kilowatts. I think, especially since we're on 2, it might only give us 125. But 150 if we're lucky. So let's see. 93, 104, 114, 125. Oh, it will go. We might get up to 150. 144, 146. Come on, give me 150. 47. It's kind of leveling off. And I think it's going to stay there, about 146. So that's pretty good. 20 minutes remaining to continue the trip. We would actually like to have a little bit more time than that because we need food and we're going to eat here. So the car may be waiting for us instead of the other way around. Rachel is cleaning the windshields off because this one has squeegees and all of that stuff.
We're going to clean your windows.
And one of the things that I want to bring up is, especially on this road, for some reason, FSD doesn't want to always be in the rightmost lane. It's a 2-lane highway going each direction on US 287. And it's not a pure freeway. There's sometimes cross streets and things like that, but it is a 75-mile-an-hour highway. But it doesn't like to just live in the right-hand lane. It will randomly, for no reason, when we're not passing a car, there's not construction or an exit coming up, it'll signal and move into the left lane, and the message it'll give me on the screen is changing lanes to get out of the rightmost lane. Thing is, that's illegal in Texas. There are signs that say left lane for passing only, and if you're driving in that left lane, in the passing lane in Texas, you can get a ticket for it. So unless we're passing somebody on a road like this, we stay in the right-hand lane, in the travel lane, and go into the left-hand lane to pass. The car doesn't seem to like that, or FSD doesn't seem to like that, and so I would let it do its lane change, and then I'd turn the signal on to get it back into the right lane, and it'll stay there for about 10 miles, and then randomly go back to the left lane. So anyway, we're charging. We got about 20 minutes or so until the car is full. We're going to go inside and get some food. And just in case you didn't see it, dinosaurs. And there's a Cybertruck. So we have 79% of our battery remaining now, 203 miles projected. And we have 123 miles to go until we get home. We should get home at 20%, and we're on the road. Well, it's going to end up, we had planned on this being about a 900-mile road trip because we didn't have to drive from Amarillo to Dalhart. It actually turned into about 756 miles.
Yeah, so we just went to Amarillo, and because Mike couldn't make it for dinner, he got stuck. So we had dinner at a
Longhorn Steakhouse.
Longhorn Steakhouse, right by the Holiday Inn. It was really
everything
good.
Was great. Everything was really good.
Yeah, there was a Saltgrass Steakhouse right next door, and we almost went there, but we decided to try the place we hadn't heard of.
And we were glad we did.
Yeah, it was really good, and cheaper than Saltgrass.
So, as we wrap this up, I gotta say that this car does the EV road trip thing very well. Everybody who has left a comment since we picked this car up, and we've had content on this Model 3, there have been a lot of comments saying how the road trips are going to be a lot smoother and a lot faster, and this car has proven that today and yesterday, and taken some of the drama out of our charge stops, so we'll
Yeah.
try to add some of our own in
Much
future.
less interesting, but
Well, no, we'll make something.
we'll try to be interesting.
As we move on with that, adding up the cost of all of our charge stops, which I have to look up on the phone after the fact, which is why I haven't been commenting about them at each charge stop like I would if we had our Bolt and I could just read it off the screen of the charger. I'll look them up on my phone and I'll put them up in post-production, so you will have seen those in post-production. I didn't say the battery percentages on the way there, so they'll be missing. But adding up all those charge stops and the cost of those charge stops, we stopped for a potty break back in Decatur.
Added it all up.
And it was $66 and change. And
that was for the price of the electricity that we bought.
At a Tesla supercharger, so that's fast charging. It was $66 and change for this entire round trip of 755 miles.
And while we were there, we looked at the price of gas at that particular gas
which
station.
Was $3.099.
And added it up.
And based on the fuel mileage that the car we sold for this one, the Subaru
Crosstrek,
of about 27 miles per gallon, that would have been about $86 and change. So it's not a huge
savings taking the Tesla with the price of gas as it is now.
And as far as how much that was with our time, every time that we stopped to plug this car in was a stop that we would have needed to make anyway for a bathroom break or a meal or a snack, and we did not have to wait for this car once.
That's true.
Well, with the exception of this morning, I had to wait a couple of minutes because I didn't, precondition the car or anything, and I wanted to get to that charger in Quanah. And I wouldn't have had to do that. That was a conscious choice, just for experimenting. But all the stops that we made were stops we would have had to make. You may not have needed to make those stops, but we did. And we did not have to wait for the car one single time.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really seamless experience. Very easy to road trip this car. Much less drama than the Bolt, as he said. It really is a great car for road tripping. It's not a lot less expensive than taking a gas-powered car with the price of gas as it is now, but it's definitely very easy and fun and comfortable. And it was a little less expensive than it would have been taking our Subaru.
And I've been using FSD for the vast majority of the trip, since we're doing this trip in the middle of the full self-drive trial that we've got. And I really like it for the long stretches. I've already talked about the unknown movement into the left lane, but now we're on a 3-lane highway and we're perfectly fine here in the middle. And the car's behaving well. The FSD is great at highway stuff. In-town stuff, construction zones,
less so.
And besides the fact that I just really like driving this car personally, but in a little over a month, we're going on another road trip up to the Lake of the Ozarks, and we'll have a video on that when we make it, and I won't have the FSD trial then, and I'll be able to do a comparison between a long-distance drive with an FSD and a long-distance drive without it. So look for that video coming up.
Stay tuned.
Make sure that you're subscribed. If you found the video entertaining, give us a like, and tell us about your EV road trip experience or that you have had down in the comments. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Bye.